Mr. Chopra, thank you for all your agency does. They don't give me enough time to go through the whole list of everything you've accomplished. I do hope that you're successful with limiting late fees on credit cards. And I know that's held up in the court, but this is a chance to save $10 billion annually for American consumers. And of course, with today's computers, the cost that the bank incurs dealing with the issue. I mean, I remember, in the 60s, the 70s, people, a human being would have to look at your late fee and then decide what to do. Human beings are not involved in determining what to do if my credit card payment comes in late. And second, I want to thank you for your prompt response. Look forward to working with you on the issue of getting your payment in by a particular hour. Because we in California are told your bill's due June 30th. So if at 2:30 p.m. on June 30th, you try to pay, you get a late fee. And in fact, today, especially with automated systems, people think if it's due June 30th, they can watch the 11 o'clock news and still get their payment in on time. And then instead they get a late fee. I want to pick up on what the ranking member of the Small Business Committee pointed out, how important it is that you craft your regulations for small and community-based financial institutions. And I do want to say, you're quoted as calling title insurance a junk fee. I hope that was, and you're shaking your head. You wouldn't call that a junk fee, neither would I. Now, Senator Kennedy, with whom I've worked with well on a few things, has asserted that the CFPB is not following the law because this year, most recent year, the Federal Reserve has revenue but does not have earnings. And I think the senator may have it all wrong. It is true that due to higher interest rates, a smaller Fed portfolio, the Fed has not had extra money to transfer to the U.S. Treasury in a particular year. But Congress certainly did not expect that your operation would shut down or repopulate based on whether the Fed is making money in a particular year. That's why we use the word earnings, but Senator Kennedy thinks that we use the word net earnings. No, net earnings is found elsewhere in the Federal Reserve Act, meaning that anyone looking at that act knows that there's a difference between net earnings, which is net profits, and earnings, which is revenue. And of course, the senator seems to lose track of the fact that the Fed has made a lot of money in prior years, and there's nothing in the bill that says that your budget has to come from earnings in a particular year. Believe it, I do want to focus on manufactured identities. We've got you hosted an academic research meeting on auto lending research. In the first half of 2023, manufactured identities cost the auto lending industry almost $2 billion. That's up substantially. Will you consider studying different ways to prevent the fraud from manufacturers' synthetic identities?
Yes, we need to, industry and the regulators need to be thinking with Congress about future ways of doing identity verification. I think our way of doing it now is expensive, and it also doesn't deter fraud.
I will also point out that our colleague, Mr. Foster, has the concept of digital identity for all Americans that makes an awful lot of sense. Credit header data is used to combat fraud and to comply with the Know Your Customer requirements. People in this committee know how important those requirements are to our society and to me personally. But if we called a credit header data report a, quote, consumer report, that would interfere with the process. Can we provide that credit header data is not a consumer report when used to comply with the Know Your Customer?
Well, it is, compared to others, it is sort of a short form consumer report, but I take the point, it is important. for financial institutions to be able to use certain information to combat fraud, and we're going to make sure we can keep that going.